wives. I'll tell you a piece of my mind. It would be greatly for the public behalf if we women, being of mature age and church members in good repute, should have the handlings of such malefactresses as this Hester Prynne. What think ye, gossips? If the hussy stood up for judgment before us fives that are now not together, would she come off with such a sentence as the worshipful magistrates have awarded? Mary, I trow not.
People say that the Reverend Master Dimmesdale, her godly pastor, takes it very grievously to heart that such a scandal should have come upon his congregation.
The magistrates are God-fearing gentlemen, but merciful overmuch, that is the truth. At the very least, they should have put the brand of hot iron on Hester Prynne's forehead. Madam Hester would have winced at that, I warned me. But she, the naughty baggage, little would she care what they put upon the bodice of her gown. Why, look, she may cover it with a brooch, or such a heathenness adornment, and walk the streets as brave as ever. Ah, but let her cover the mark as she will. The pang of it will always be in her heart. What do we talk of marks and brands, whether on the bodice of a gown or the flesh of her forehead? This woman has brought shame upon us all and ought to die. Is there no law for it? Truly there is, both in the scripture and in the statute book. Then let the magistrates who have made it of no effect thank themselves if their own wives and daughters go astray.
Mercy on us, good wife! Is there no virtue in woman save what springs from the wholesome fear of the gallows? That is the hardest word yet. Hush now, gossips, for the lock is turning on the prison door, and here comes Mistress Prynne herself.
It is the 1600s, as Hester Prynne stands on the scaffold with the 3-month-old daughter Pearl, to be publicly shamed for a crime against the Puritan congregation in her home of Boston, Massachusetts. She wears a scarlet-colored A on her chest as a symbol of shame and sin. The Reverend Dimmesdale asks Hester for the name of her lover, fully knowing that it is him, and she refuses. Thus transpires the events of the Scarlet Letter.
Wait, so you're not going to talk about all the great things that Hester did? Or the horrible Roger Chillingworth?
Or Reverend Dimmesdale and all his terrible suffering?
Or the fact that the town wanted to remove the Scarlet Letter?
Or the fact that the narrator likes to call me an elf child?
Wait, you guys lit my credits on fire because you wanted me to talk about the person you were just complaining about more?
Definitely. Yes, I want my story told too.
Alright, if you insist. But, does someone want to put out the fire?
Okay. I guess that works.
Alright. So after being returned to her cell, Hester Prynne is visited by a very familiar man. Her ex-husband, Roger Chillingworth, pretending to be a doctor. He tries to get her to tell him about the man that she had an affair with, but once again, she declines. Chillingworth counters this by claiming that whether she tells him or not, he will find the guilty man and make him suffer, then leaves. After being released from jail, Hester Prynne moves into a cottage with Pearl.
That's me!
Yes, that's you, Pearl. Now, as I was saying, Hester makes a life for herself with her needlework, seeing that she is one of the only women in town to possess the skill, and makes clothing for all sorts of events, except for weddings, for the fear of her negative reputation being passed on to the bride, because that's how, that stuff works, totally.
Oh, come now, you have to understand that Hester's crime was seen as a...
Hey, do you want me to continue or not?
Well, of course I do, I just want you to understand
Then
that...
you let me do it my way.
Of course.
Thank you. Once again, despite her success, Hester feels lonely and alienated from the world, so she starts to do charity work. Unfortunately, despite these efforts, many townsfolk still saw her as nothing more than an outcast, a sinner. So she confides in her young daughter Pearl, seeing that she was also an outcast by association. But later on, there's a rumor going around that Pearl would be taken away from Hester. So she goes to the governor to see if it's true, only to find that it is, because they suspect that Pearl is a demon child, and Hester is unfit to raise her. They question Hester to see if she truly is a fit mother, and to see if she's teaching Pearl Puritan values. And you know what? This is getting really boring, so I'm just gonna go try and sum up the book in 3 sentences. Maybe. What? How do you plan to sum it up in 3 sentences?
I mean, the story has to be longer than that.
What
about the walk in the forest?
Oh, the witchcraft.
Oh, the black
There has to be more than that.
that.
Whoa. Guys, calm down. I said maybe. The point is that Dimmesdale feels very guilty, and Chillingworth senses this and decides to find out the truth for himself, and he finds a self-inflicted day across Dimmesdale's chest one night and starts to torture him out of revenge. Dimmesdale and Hester eventually talk after the governor dies, and they stand on the scaffold together with Pearl, and they see a meteor shaped like an A, aka symbolism. Oh yeah, and Chillingworth and Hester have a conversation. He mentions to Hester that the town plans to remove the Scarlet Letter because of all the good that Hester has done, but she won't let them because she doesn't want them to control her anymore, aka feminism. But anyway, Dimmesdale and Hester eventually make a deal to flee Boston and go to Europe and raise Pearl and live happily ever after in rainbows and unicorns or something. But Chillingworth once again gets in the way by mentioning to the sailor of the ship that he's part of the family's party because he's a doctor. Dimmesdale was ill, but really he's just trying to ruin their lives and get in the way as always because he sucks. Pearl still doesn't particularly like Dimmesdale because he won't stand with them in public.
And he's weird.
Hey, be nice to your father.
But he
ends up standing on the scaffold with you and your mother at the end of the book and admits the truth to the entire crowd before he dies. Okay?
What? But I thought you said we lived happily ever after.
You do, just not with him. Plus, Chillingworth dies too, so that's good, right?
Yeah, I guess, but I still don't know how we can live happily ever after if he dies.
Well, my sweet elf child, it's because you and your mother still moved to England. After she removes her Scarlet Letter, of course, and you grow up and get married.
Yay!
Then your mother ends up going back to Boston and lives in your old cottage and puts the Scarlet Letter back on. But this time, the town sees it as a symbol meaning Abel instead of adultery, and she eventually dies. But she gets buried somewhere close to Dimmesdale, and they have a shared gravestone with the words, "On a field sable, the letter A galls." The end. Is everyone happy now? I suppose it is.
I
Yes,
liked it.
3 sentences. Of course. Thank goodness. Roll the credits. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna find whoever did this. Pearl!
Uh-oh. Bye, everybody.
What do we talk of marks and brands? Whether the bodice of a gown or the flesh of a forehead. This woman has brought shame upon this constituted judges, and that's the wrong line because it's still dared in the constituted judges.
Pearl often finds herself fascinated with the idea of the Scarlet Letter, and often plays with it on her mother's chest. That sounded weird, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. She plays with, she plays with the, you know what, whatever.
Good wives, I'll tell you a piece of my mind. It would be greatly for the public behalf if we women, being of mature age and church members in good repute, should have the handlings of such malefactresses as this Hester Prynne. What think ye, gossips? If the hussy stood up for judgment upon us five, I can speak English. She bore in her arms a child, a baby of some 3 months old, who winked and turned aside its little face from the too vivid light of day, because its existence heretofore.
Later on, there's a rumor going around that Pearl would be taken away from Hester, so she goes to the governor to see if it's true, only to find that it is, because they succeed. Do you mind? So she confides in her young daughter Pearl, seeing that she was also an outcast by association. Later on, there's a rumor going around that Pearl would be taken away from Hester, so she goes to the governor to see if it's true or not, only to find that it is, because they succeed. It's not that hard to say. Suspect that Pearl is a demon child and frick. So Dimmesdale ends up standing on the scaffold one night because, well, he's guilty, and he cries out in pain because, well, his chest is in pain because the self-inflicted A. And he thinks everyone's going to wake up and see him. But they don't, because they just think it's a witch.